just vague. I think he is both. Anybody that's been watching Brandon Turner for a long time knows that he was a mediocre investor, had just a few investments, and then he was doing the podcast on the Bigger Pockets, and for about 5 years where he interviewed other people. Then he made some sort of deal, I think, with Open Door Capital, where many, many people are extremely disappointed that you can go in there, you can read it on Reddit, you can read about, people's, they didn't make their expectations. They, according to people that have written in there, they're 40% short of their projections. But this guy is running around telling people that you can't go without this. I'm paraphrasing, but like he can do this and he can teach you. Talks about things like you can go from $3 million, how he went from $3 million to $11,000 or $13,000, depends on which ad you see. And this kind of stuff is just super vague. Saying that you went from $3 million to $11,000 is kind of like, you know what I mean? It's kind of, it's like double talk. It really is. It's double talk. We're going to get into it and look at some of this stuff. And, right now, let's take a look. There's something here from the coffee hour. Let's take a look at this. Let's see, where is it?
Then I bought a Duke. Yeah. Starbucks offers a tall, grande, and a venti, just so you don't compare it to 7-Eleven's dollar coffee. So if I'm talking to a seller, I just give them a couple options. I could pay $300,000 for your house. As is, I can close next week, all cash, or I can pay $320. But for that extra $20,000, I want you to include all the furniture in the house, and it's gonna take me another month to close. So then...
Okay, so he's making the point about sending out, two different offers, and that's not bad. It's always a good idea. Look, this is kind of standard. You make two offers, so they choose between one or the other. That's fine. But demonstrate that you've done it. Show the actual real estate that you've done. Now, I'm not making that the comparison just on this, but these are the kinds of things that fake gurus do. They talk about things, what you should do, but they don't actually demonstrate that they've ever done it. Let's watch this.
Then the seller's like, oh, which one do I want? I don't care which one. That literally doesn't matter. I gave them like two scenarios that I'd be happy with either way, and they're trying to figure out which one they want. They're not thinking yes, no, they're thinking which one. That's
okay, and that's actually not bad advice, but show that you've done it. It's easy to plagiarize other people's things, what other people have done, but it's completely different to when you're acting that you're reflecting on experience. I'm not saying that he's never done that, but what I'm saying is, this is a guy that he'll say he went from $3 million in real estate to $1 billion or $300 million, depending on what. Again, you know what I mean? This is what I want to see. I want to see what I show people, right? I show people the actual assets that I bought. I say, look, see all these blue dots? I bought all these. I negotiated them. I made the deal. I made all the money. This is what the kind of experience you're looking for. You know what? The number one thing I can tell you, people come to me because I'm a mentor, right? I've only been mentoring for 3.5 years. But do I have success stories? Yeah, I got a bunch of them. I got many millionaires in my class, multi-millionaires in my class. They've done it in the last 3.5 years. Some have made only a couple $100,000. I say only because that's small in comparison to what some of the others have done. Now, some have made less than that, 10,000, 20. Actually, one of my students wrote me last night. I'm going to interview him here really very soon. He said, I bought 2 houses already, and I sold one, made this, and I got another one. And he's showing me the dream home that he's going to keep. This is real stuff. These are real people that you see right here. And look, I'm going live on my webinar here in like 45 minutes, okay? So listen, if you're not a millionaire, if you're 30, 40 years old, and you're not a millionaire, listen, in 45 minutes, I'll be going live, and I'm going to show you. I will show you the assets that made me a millionaire, the ones that I actually bought and sold, okay? Back in 1980s, in the 1980s, I was a millionaire when I was 27 in like 1989. In 1989, I was 27. Yeah, and I was a millionaire. And that's a lot. Okay, that's back, that's in the 80s, okay? It's something. And that's the kind of experience you need, because what I see when I see Brandon talk about is he's also promoting other people all the time. Listen, I'm competing with other people. Why would you promote other people? But this is kind of the fake guru game. They don't have credibility for actual showing the stuff that they've done. And they have a saying. They say, those that can't do, teach. right? And that is mostly true. I can say it's mostly true because I've seen it over and over again. Anybody want to call in? That's the number, 424-866-7929. I'm going to keep it brief here because I'm going to be going live here with anybody that gets in the webinar. All you got to do is go to flipanythingusa.com/webinar. I'll go ahead and show you right here on the screen. Let me go and make you full screen here. Right here, you can go to, up at the top here, right here. You can see apply for mentorship, not tonight, go to webinar. Go to webinar right there, fill this out, okay? And so look, what people know about me is that I'm real, okay? I talk straight, I mean, to the point. I do more lives. I don't sit there and just do carefully crafted videos that avoid questions, that avoid the stuff that, you know what I mean? I love questions. You can call me right now, ask me anything you want, put me on the spot, you know, because that's what you got to do with fake gurus. When they say, this is what you should do, say, okay, show me that you've done it. Don't tell me how to do it. Show me that you have done it. Because if they can't show you that they've done it, they're a theoretical investor, okay? And it's one thing, look, Brandon, look, I'm sure you're a nice guy. I can see it. It comes through the way you talk and stuff. But it doesn't mean that you're a real estate investor, okay? And that's probably, you know, why you do so well, you know, promoting how you have. You know, people trust you. And this is the problem. People trust people based on them being likable, right? And I'm saying, look, I can be a super likable guy. People know, people tell me all day, man, you're so real. And it's the realness that they like. But really, you have to, you know, trust but verify, right? Trust but verify. You know, when somebody's going to say that they've got the, you know, they can show you how to do it, you know, show me that you've done it, okay? Don't just tell me that you can show, that you're going to be able to teach me how to do it. Look at all these homes. That's just in one subdivision, right? And I bought most of those in the last 4 or 5 years. And I bought a property just 4 months ago for $320,000, sold it for $400,000, 4192 Winbury, Georgetown. Okay, these are the things, verifiable, stuff that's verifiable. You know, whatever you're interested in, interested in commercial buildings, industrial buildings, I've got them, I've bought them, I've sold them. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. You want to see real deals. You want to see real success. You know, you can trust. They say you can. You know, a good teacher by his students, right? And that's a very, very true statement. And that's what you should hold everybody to. If you look at the students of some of these guys that say they're professional mentors and that they can teach you, their students show that they cannot. Their students actually highlight how terrible they are. And I urge you to look into that. Look at Pace Morby, look at Grant Cardone, look at Brandon, okay? Go find people that have made money under their tutelage. I don't think you're going to find very many of them. But number one, have they made it? I don't even think Pace Morby's even made $100,000 on a piece of property before. Certainly not $1 million. And I doubt even Brandon has. I really do. I doubt it. But otherwise, you would see it, right? You would see it. I mean, I can sit here and go through properties, and I'll just do it real quick. This property here, I made $1,450,000, right? I really made more than $1.5 million. But I always like to I don't ever want to be as called an exaggerator. But I bought that property for $240,000. I sold it for $1,725,000. These apartments, I bought each of these buildings. I had 58 apartments altogether. 13 unit, I paid $130,000, sold it for about $650,000. 21 unit, I bought for $550,000. Yeah, no, I take it back. No, I paid. I sold this for $1,160,000, something right in there, a little over $1 million. I sold this for. I paid $210,000 for it. Okay, that's some money made. It didn't hold it very long. This is another one, 24 units. And look at here, everything's nearby. In fact, I just saw a short. He was just explaining a short here. Where was it? Brandon Turner. Where is that thing? Oh yeah, maybe this is it. Yeah.
Then I bought a duplex. And not that I didn't even know what house hacking was. Like, how would I invest in real estate right now in 2024? If I was flipping houses, I would not use debt, which is an interesting strategy. I would rather use money partners than debt if I was flipping. And what I mean by that is you can't lose this way, right? So let's say I went in and I found,
You could still.
Yeah, you could. Okay, you can. How would I invest in real estate right now in 2024? If I was flipping houses, I would not use debt, which is a.
Guess what? That's how most fake gurus do it. They use other people's money. You know how many people that are in Open Door, that invested in Open Door, that fell short of their projections? That's his strategy. That's probably his number one strategy. Use other people's money. It's Grant Cardone's strategy. It's Chris Crone's strategy.
The house I just bought down in Florida, I chose Florida because I wanted somewhere that I could take. It's for my son Wilder, so I have a strategy I did for my daughter, now I'm doing it for my son, and I'll do it for my third kid. Basically, I buy them a property and put it on a 15-year mortgage when they're young, and that way it's paid out by the time they go to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great
How would I invest in real
strategy
estate?
for setting up your kids. I understand that one too.
Then I bought a duplex. Then I bought a duplex. And not that I didn't even know what house hacking was. Like, that word wasn't even invented yet. But I just bought a duplex thinking, well, I can live in one unit and rent the other one out. And sure enough, I remember my tenant bringing me $650 in cash the first day. My mortgage was gonna be like $620. And I was like, shoot.
And that's the most common dream. That all the way back to the 80s, they call it house hacking. That's not what they called it back then. But I mean, just kind of common sense. Think, yeah, buy one side, rent out the other. In fact, I can tell you, I've seen a time when times were so bad, when real estate was so bad, that you could go in and it was cheaper to buy than to rent. Cheaper to buy than to rent. This is in Austin, Texas. And I had an acquaintance, didn't know him that well. They didn't qualify to buy the duplex, but if they bought a second duplex, they qualified because the income that was coming in from the second duplex took them over that they could actually afford to get both. In other words, they got to have income from the second one that it took them over because they had kind of a piss poor job. It actually put them into the stratosphere for doing it. So look, if you're just watching here, look, I've got a webinar tonight. I want you to come to the webinar. Listen, a fool and his money are soon parted. If you don't do your due diligence when you're looking at somebody, you're going to get screwed. Listen, I have so many people that I've talked to that have gotten into my webinar, or people that have gotten into my mentorship that have made tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, even multi-millions now. And I've only been teaching for 3.5 years. It doesn't matter that I've only been teaching 3.5. What matters is I've been investing for 44 years, okay? Many guys like Brandon and others, it's the opposite, right? They've been teaching for more years than they've been investing, okay? And I'm not talking about buying stuff, property for your kids with the monies that you've made, whatever, being a spokesman for Open Door or whatever your position is. Let's see, Don H. wrote, I have a real estate company that I started. I haven't bought any real estate yet, but I've funded the business account with profits from my construction company. Where is the best place to start? Yeah, so Don, I don't understand why you formed a company. I really don't. Tell me why you formed a company, because that sounds like fake guru bullshit advice already. Go get an LLC. Form an LLC. You know what I mean? They're just shilling you and selling you another piece of shit you don't need, which is an LLC. You don't need an LLC. You don't need an LLC till you've made $1 million or more. LLCs are created to devise your interest with somebody else, or somebody like me or like Ben Mullen. We'll have LLCs and limited partnerships because we make our kids our partners. My kids were my partners before they were 18. It was a way they could hold an interest in real estate. That's why you form an LLC or a device like that. It gives you a separate entity, but it allows the individuals that are in it to have an interest. Kids can't have an interest in it, right? That's why you do it when you're a father and you got kids that you want to start giving them their wealth, or you still can control it, but you start handing it over to them. So again, I'm sure Brandon is a super nice guy. Brandon, love to interview you.
Starbucks offers a tall grande and a venti. Then how would I invest in real estate right now in 2024? If I was flipping the house I just bought down in Florida, Romans 8:28. We know that.
What does this cost?
So much. I'll stop here on this for now.
What does this cost? How much?
The house I just bought.
Anyways, I started an LLC so that the real estate would not be in my name. Why not? Why didn't you want it in your name, Don? Why? I'm just curious. Why wouldn't you want the property in your name? You know, this is the thing. I mean, I'm curious why you think you need to put the property in an LLC, in a different name. I mean, you got to have insurance no matter what. If you're the general partner of your property, you still have liability. Hi, Tom. Do you have a view on the Arizona AG case against the foreclosure chaser case and how it might be sweep in the whole sub-2 Morby method? I don't know, JM. I don't know. I hadn't even heard about it, to be honest. Listen, I've heard Pace Morby go on the defense of like the alienation clause doesn't mean anything. Okay, let me tell you how much that carries. That's like also income taxes are unconstitutional, okay? Guess what? See how far that gets you, right? In other words, you can contest and you can cry and you can try to make a case about anything. Doesn't mean you're going to win, okay? It's silly. The alienation clause is very real. You are in default when you take that property out of your name. Now, it's okay to take it out of your name and put it in an LLC or put it in a limited partnership as long as you are the majority interest holder. And anybody that knows a banker that has any sense will tell you, absolutely, you're in default, you're in default. If you don't keep it insured, you're in default. If you don't pay the taxes, and guess what? You're in default if you put it over into another entity's name. That's the beauty of an entity. It has all the rights of an individual. So when you deed it to an entity, you can deed it to an entity or you can deed it to Pace Morby. Either way, it's changed hands. It's changed hands, and now you have violated your agreement. You're in breach of the contract, and guess what? They can take it away from you. And what also people don't talk about is that it's really a bad deal for the person that's selling it. I get sold, oh yeah, you get some ignorant, stupid agent, oh, call the agent directly and they'll work with you. Yeah, they're working with you because there's no meat on the bone. In other words, the only chance that they're making any money on this thing is for the bank to agree to a short sale. But instead, they find a sucker like you that'll do a sub-2 deal and take over the debt, right? Or not really, but take over the debt, but not necessarily the responsibility of the debt. So what ends up happening is you get in a position where, okay, great, it's cash flowing, I'm making $500, I'm making 30%, whatever the rent is, $3,000, $10,000, I'm making 30%. Well, something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. Air conditioner goes out, and now you got to part with some real money, or you're going to lose your tenant. Well, you don't part with the real money, now you lose tenant. Now you got a property that's empty, not making any money, and you got to come up with the money. So what do? You walk away. Boom. You're going to be in a lawsuit with the person that sold you that property. Let's see. I made my assumption, this is Don following up, on why he got an LLC. I made the assumption you need to put real estate in an entity. Yep, see, Don, you're as green as they come. Go to my webinar. Go to my webinar tonight, okay? Seriously. And I mean that respectfully. You know, you could be fantastic at whatever you do. I don't know. You might have great talent. But I'm just telling you, this is this fake guru bullshit. I mean, listen, there's so much fake guru bullshit out there that there's huge, you're seeing them push how to be, it's almost like how to be a fake guru, how to sell others, listen, believe me, when you see guys like Ryan Pineda, Pace Morby, when you see these guys flock to like Grant Cardone, they're not going to Grant Cardone to say, I want to know how you made so much money in real estate. No, that's not. They want to know, how did you get so many people to throw money at you that you could use their money? You could use their money. That's where the gold is. Anyways, so look, you can be talking to me live here in 30 minutes. One of the things that's really different about me is you have access to me, right? In other words, I'm more about more about quality than quantity. In other words, so many people worry about how many subscribers they have or how many people watch. I'm looking for quality people. I'm looking for people that are smart enough to ask questions, that don't believe, that when they listen to somebody like Brandon say, how to go from 3 million to 11,000 doors, they go, that sounds ridiculous. That's stupid. Not, or like when Pace Morby says, I have, when he says equity doesn't matter, and he says, I have $450 million in real estate, and I don't have any of the debt in my name, okay? Something doesn't smell right? But when like I say, when you don't know who the sucker in the room is, you're the sucker in the room. And it's so funny because I heard Pace Murray, and I'm paraphrasing when I said, but he said, I have a portfolio of over 450 million, and none of the debt is in my name. And everybody's like, oh, wow. Nobody's asking, how much equity do you have, Pace? You know what I mean? It's stupid. It's stupid. Nobody asks the right questions. Don't Carlton Sheets. What? Carlton? No, don't listen to, I don't know what you guys are talking about now. And I think he said Carlton Sheets. That's how far I go back, right? Yeah, he has zero equity, 500 million now. I mean, the number changes all the time. That's the thing. If you're not smart enough to ask the right questions, for God's sakes, find people that are wealthy and talk to them. Not necessarily people that are advertising and saying, all this, flim-flam crap. Find somebody. Listen, they're everywhere. I can tell you right now, and I'll just give you a quick story. I worked for a guy, great guy. His name was, now I'm getting old and I'm starting to forget. John Brooks. John Brooks, man, super respected guy, contractor. I remember he was probably about 40. I was maybe 20. I was 18, really. I went to work for him. And this guy, when he died, he was worth probably $100 million. And I think he died early 90s. And way too early. Died way too early. Just built a $5 million beach house at the beach. Now, this is a guy that had, like, my credibility. In other words, he had a history like this. This is the history you want to see. A history of buying a lot of property. He had a record. In other words, you could go back and you can look in the records and you can see his name on real estate that he's bought, just like me. You could look up all these properties and you would see my name on it, or you'd see the entity that owns it with my name on that entity, okay? And it doesn't just, and that's recent, and then you can go to an area where I lived a long time ago, right? Go back where I made my first million, same thing. And the other thing, also look, all the blue dots, right? Everything's nearby. About probably, I don't know, more than 100, maybe 100, right at probably 100 properties back then. I bought almost 70 just right here alone. Again, back in the 80s, made 130 on that, made about 350 on that. Other properties, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. All these lots over here, I made anywhere from 7 to 20,000. Went through about 60, 70 lots there. This, if you're not smart enough to understand it, this is the kind of proof of concept, right? Somebody says they know what they're doing. Prove it, right? That's the thing. Big claims, no proof. I see that out of Brandon. Big claims, no proof. I see it out of Pace Morby. See it out of Chris Crone. I see it out of everybody that you guys know their names. You see them all the time. Nobody asks the right questions. And in fact, you'll even see, like Pace, he talks like a church counselor. It's like, sup, bro? In other words, he's talking younger than his years because he's talking to people that are younger. You know what I mean? It's like being a chameleon. And I'm telling you, I got no interest in taking money. It's like taking candy from a baby. Believe me, I got no interest in that because I don't chase money for courses and chase money for. I can legitimately just say, you know what, this ain't right for you. Because I'm not all about the money. I'm all about the success of the student. 100% about the success of the student. All these students you see behind me here, every one of them, before they got in the class, they had to talk to me personally direct. And believe me, for every face you see here, there's 2 that I didn't let in the class. I say no more than I say yes. Don't let that scare you away from trying. I'm looking for common sense and a true desire to be successful. Listen, and listen, everybody can push the buttons. I know you want to be a good dad. You want to be able to teach them how to make money. You want to have money, put them through school. You want to be able, you enable your kids to have their dreams. You want to enable your wife to see her dreams. All that stuff. I could sit here and pour, I know how to push the buttons. These guys push the buttons all the time. They're pros at pushing the buttons. But it's taking your mind off the most important questions, right? Like, show me that you did it. Show me the deals that you made. In other words, those are very, very simple. and that's anyways, that's what you got to do. I'm telling you, anybody that can't do this, what I'm showing you right here, doesn't deserve your business. They don't deserve your business. And look at that, all this, and nobody's even called in. Nobody's called in, and there's the phone number. I guess I took the phone number. The phone number's over here. I gotta change screens here. There's the phone number. If anybody wants to call in, call in. But it's gonna be pretty brief because I'm going live. But go to flipanythingusa.com/webinar. Go to the links below. Click on it right now. As soon as you put your name in that little, it's a form that big. It's like name, phone number, email, and you'll get texted or you'll get emailed the link to get into the Zoom. Urge you to do it right now because I'm telling you, there's people that are watching just like you are right now. These people right here had no idea they were going to run into me. Ran into me, and some of them are millionaires. Some of them made hundreds of thousands. You know, like I love this guy here. He's recent, and believe me, he's not the most successful one.
I'm painting now, and don't have probably another 3 weeks, and it'll be listed. Should make at least 100.
So this is a guy that's already made, I think it's damn near 500,000. But at the time of this interview, let me show you what he had. Between two deals, and you've got another one you've already got under contract or you purchased. So you might make another 100,000 on, correct?
Yes, I'm close on it now. I'm painting now, and don't have probably another 3 weeks, and it'll be listed. Should make at least 100.
Okay, so that's him making his second $100,000 after making 113. I think he ended up making 120. 120. All right, got somebody calling in. So Shane, how long have you been in the mentorship now? Let's take this call. Hey, caller, you there?
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Oh, hey, Russ. Russ is in the class. Russ is a multimillionaire in the class, too, by the way. 30 years old, 4 kids. Yeah, Russ, maybe for people watching right now, the guys that are watching right now, women that are watching right now, what would you say? The class starts in 20 minutes. The webinar starts in 20 minutes. Should they go to fill out the form? What do you think?
Hey, if you want to change your life, not only your life, but the life of your family, your wife, your kids, the people around you, take the class, skip the bar, go to the seminar.
Thanks, Russ. I appreciate hearing that. So listen, none of the people in my class are a slouch. Russ is a realtor. Russ is a broker. Russ just wanted to know more about, about commercial real estate, and he just wasn't quite into that game yet. Now he's a rock star. He's freaking absolutely killing it. Right? Am I right? That's what. Don't let me misstate anything, Russ.
No. That's exactly what you helped me get into the commercial sphere. I did a lot of residential flips before getting in your class, but commercial was always a little out of my reach, and then you kind of opened it up for me, and I made millions in equity since, and working at a retail center right now, looking at a little skyscraper for my next project.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It changed my life. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it just took him to a whole new tier. And besides, and so look at those of you, some of you have houses, right? You got 10 houses, 20 houses, whatever. Listen, you can turn that into so much more. Okay, I'm telling you, houses are fine.
Yep.
I've never been able to get away from houses because I make so much money flipping houses. But houses are for flipping, okay? And then you accumulate those, and then you roll those into buying, commercial, industrial. Russ has killed it already. He's only been in the class 2 or 3 years. Is it maybe 3 years? And I'm telling you, he's got assets that, I say in my class, moves my greed meter. It makes me want it, right? Got rich in the class, just did the same thing. He's got one that it's moving Russ's greed meter too. I already know it. Don't even have to ask. It's like, hey, I want that to be me, man. I want that to be me. I'm happy for you, dude, but I want it to be me. And, there's just so many opportunities out there. And I tell you, it's just the saddest thing when I see guys that are skeptical or jaded, that have money, that have capacity, and they don't utilize it. And it's sad because, I was talking to Manny Koshman not too long ago, and he's a legitimate investor that's done really well. And he's like, he's got a couple younger kids, and he's like, and I'm paraphrasing, but the bottom line is he doesn't want to get, he doesn't want to get associated with being the scum, because it's a scummy swamp of fake gurus out there. And I'm telling you, you know, and you could just, you know, just the brief time that I talked to him, you can tell he's just like, ugh, you know what I mean? And so, but you know, but he is a legitimate guy, and he's got some student success too. So, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating because there's guys that look just like me, younger, older, that have made their money off of students. The students are the money, not the real estate. You know, I'm in my final innings of my life, and I've already made tons of money. And so I take great pride in satisfaction in seeing guys like Russ that are getting wealthier faster than I did. And it's a very, very cool thing. And the class too, right? Russ, what about the class?
The class was cool because, first of all, it keeps you on track, keeps you focused. Every week we get together, and everyone's kind of keeping each other accountable. Like, hey, make sure you're not slacking off. Make sure you're looking for deals. I mean, the competition is kind of a friendly competition.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's competitive.
It's like a support group, and we learn. Yeah. And I love it personally. You know, the competition drives progress. So.
No, and I wouldn't even call it competition, but because you're not really competing with each other, but what you're doing is you're trying to outdo each other. Okay, I mean, I guess that's still competitive in nature, but the bottom line is, it's not that you're trying to. You're seeing what's possible, and you want to hit that too, or go beyond that. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, I can tell you, like, one of my earliest guys that was really successful right here, actually, I'll make him big here. We all know Ron. You know, this is Ron. This is a guy with 9 kids.
That was the first class I've ever held.
Oh.
So this is Ron, and he's he's the first person I interviewed after doing this stuff. He's got 9 kids, and he made $200,000, and I was like, oh, thank God, proof of concept. My first guy that's actually making some money. And now he's up to $4 million. He's made over $4 million, right? That was last time he was in the class, probably up to 5 now. But last time he was in the class, in the mentorship, he was talking to everybody, and he's got $4 million equity, has $1 million debt, and he said, I got none of my own money in it. He goes, all that money's free and clear, and I've taken money out. So he's really beyond the 4 million point of equity and cash. But he was the rock star in the class until deals like, you know, Russ and Rich have made now, and some others, and, you know, where they made $600,000 on single. You know, he's got up to the $4 million, but he's got 40 properties. So he's got 40 headaches to deal with. Other guys have gotten there or damn near there with fewer properties and less headaches. So it's a really cool thing. I got another guy in the class, Eric. Eric is a rock star. Eric made $800,000 on a trailer park, and he made about $800,000 on a piece of land. And he did something I've never done. And this is what's really cool. I'm starting to see things done that I've never encountered. I can still help him with it. But he got a property. He told me about it. I said, that's great, $800,000. You got it for $140, I think he paid for it. And I go, how much did you have to put down? He goes, nothing. I go, man, nothing down. I go, that's awesome. I go, and what was the interest rate? He goes, 0 interest. That's something, folks, I have never done. And I'm proud to have him as my student. Nothing down, you know, I mean, this is the kind of stuff. Now, I could advertise that, right? Now, I can legitimately advertise that. I'll show you how to make money, nothing down, no interest. But it would be very disingenuous for me to do it. I can legitimately do it because I actually have a student that's done it in my course, in my class. And I've always say, try to get the best interest. Well, he did better than anybody in that. But what I'm saying is the probability of that is so unlikely that I would feel like a scum if I promoted that is like, that it's even, it's okay to say it's possible. It's just not highly probable. And that's what the fake gurus do. They push stuff that is highly unlikely as being very likely. Things that are very unlikely, and, you know, they make it like, oh, it's a common probability. Everybody can do it. It happens all the time. Bullshit. I'm not going to mislead you. I'm not going to do it. So listen, if you just got here, I'm going live in a Zoom. Don't miss it. You can go to flipanythingusa.com/webinar. Don't miss it. This can change your life. Russ is on here. He's a multimillionaire since he's gotten in the class in commercial real estate. He was he was already an active real estate a smart guy, a very smart guy, active real estate investor, And he's gotten more help even beyond from me because I've been through some shit before, and he's learned from some other things from me too. That's the thing. When you get somebody who's been in business a long time like I have, there's just so much you get by osmosis, and none of it comes about without the problems. When there's problems to solve, that's where you know what I'm talking about, Russ. I'm not going to bring it up, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me get through it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's just cool because the students learn from each other, because, you see somebody doing something, you're going, hey, you know what, that I can do that here. You know what I mean? And believe me, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I haven't seen everything. And so it's just a fantastic thing. Urge everybody to get in here and go to the success page. But number one, go to flipanythingusa.com/webinar and go to the links below. Get in the class. Or get in the webinar. It's going to start in 10 minutes. Anyways, so I'm going to have to run too. But hey, thanks for calling in, Russ. And look forward.
Thank you for everything, Tom.
All right, man. Thanks very much. And those of you watching, I'll see you soon.
You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, flipanythingusa.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.